What's good, my peoples? Yeah. We back at it again with another video. It's the good brother, Boss Man Josh, coming at y'all live and direct. Man, I'm so happy to be back, y'all. I'm so happy to be back. I haven't been posting for the last couple of weeks, but man, it's so good to be back. And I say Boss Man Josh, I meant to say this about Josh, but also Boss Man Josh. Anyways, either way, I just go by Josh. I'm Josh. It really doesn't matter. Like, that's my name. Don't wear it out. But either way, regardless of what you call me, I'd like to introduce y'all to another episode of Car Notes. Yup, man. So look, y'all, we got some stuff to talk about today. Got a few things to talk about. A few different videos are gonna be coming down the pipeline. I gotta make a video about my first marathon. I gotta make a video about, just overall mindset. I gotta make a video about how to get y'all bread right. But definitely want to touch and talk on the presidential election that happened here in the US. So, fun fact, for those of y'all who don't know, over the last couple of years, I really started to develop a love for traveling and being in places. I've lived so far in 2 other countries, in Colombia and Panama respectively. So I just got back to the States in late August. I got back and settled up in California for work real quick. But what I will say is, if I'm being real, I felt like I had a feeling on what was going to happen during this election. Okay? I feel like I knew what was going to happen. I won't get into politics on how I voted. I will say that I was very conscious of who I was voting for. I will say I wanted to keep in consideration not just myself. Because here's the thing, y'all. This is what I've come to appreciate about myself, and this is what I've come to, thank God for every single day. It's the fact that I'm a hustler, right? And for all of my hustlers out here, you know what that means. It means that it doesn't matter who's in office, you are going to get your money irrespective of who's in office, irrespective of who's at the helm, because you're at the helm of your own life. I remember I was watching a video with Anthony O'Neill, and he was actually driving around, and I think he said it best. He said, Donald Trump is in the White House. That doesn't mean that he's in your house. I feel like that's the best way to look at it. Donald Trump is in the White House, yes, but he is not in your house, okay? It's what it is. It's ultimately my perspective, because here's the thing. Before I get into my perspective, I want to say that everybody's feelings and worries and gripes about this election and what this could potentially mean are very much valid, right? I definitely feel like there's a lot that's going to really be overturned. There's no way that they can just get rid of the system that we already have in place. They can't just do a mass overhaul and start from a blank slate. However, there is a lot of, disturbing pieces of the Republican Party that are of policies, right? And this is just one thing I'm gonna say too. Some of y'all be voting, but y'all be voting real emotional, okay? It's not about, here's the thing about politics. Politics is not about emotion. It is about understanding what is going to best benefit your community, right? What is going to best benefit your community? I myself, being a black person, being a black man, I voted for what I felt like was going to be the best move for my community, right? With that being said, in my personal opinion, when people say I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat, man, I stand first and foremost as a black man. I'm focused on what's going to be most beneficial for my community, for my people, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that I hate Trump supporters or I hate Kamala Harris supporters. None of that really matters. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that was really wrong with both policies or both sides. What I will say is that the Republican side was a bit more troubling in my mind, just because, you know, they're talking about getting rid of the Department of Education. Of course, they're talking about certain abortion laws. They're talking about, you know, the abolishment of certain policies, and like trying to like overturn certain things. Like there's certain, you know, just even for the type of work that I do, especially coming from a tech and nonprofit background, there's a lot of policies that may come down the pipeline that may directly impact how I get my bread from a job standpoint, right? So yes, I completely understand. Everybody's feelings are warranted and valid. I just wanted to clarify that. With that being said, and this isn't a but, this is a in addition. I personally believe that we as a people need to do whatever it takes to make sure that we are setting up ourselves, our families, our loved ones for the future, for success. That is what it is all about, y'all. It doesn't matter who's in office, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. What matters is who is in your house and how are the people in your house doing. That's what we need to be focused on, right? So with that being said, now is the time to lock in. Now is the time to actually create infrastructure. Now is the time to, you know, start doubling down. You know, we see Elon Musk is going in as the chief of Department of Government. I can't remember the exact acronym, but you know, essentially he's going into a position where potentially that may put cryptocurrency at the forefront, right? And like that may actually become a more lucrative, sustainable, you know, funnel, right? Like we're seeing Bitcoin pop off crazy, you know, so the crypto markets are going to be looking really good. There's going to be, you know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for business. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for industry. There's a lot of stuff that's really happening, right? Like even like in the tech space, I can tell y'all right now, there's a lot of folks, more and more, I meet people every day who don't have college degrees or don't use their college degrees for the role that they're currently in, and they're making six figures. You know what I mean? Like people are learning how to do these six-figure skills off of certifications that are taking them a month to complete. And I'm not saying that it's that easy, because believe me, trust me, it is not. It's one thing to get the position, it's another thing to actually have the skills and the knowledge to keep the position. But what I'm saying is that there is opportunity, okay? This isn't the time for folks to put their head in the sand, because quite frankly, that's what a lot of people even did during the election. A lot of people didn't vote, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, and not even necessarily voting for the presidential election. They didn't vote even for their local. They didn't vote for, you know, who was going to be the mayor. They didn't vote on certain policies. Like, my lady and I read a stat the other day that basically said that out of our entire district, and this is like, we live in a pretty solid neighborhood over in East Oakland. Like, only 3,000 people in our entire district voted for all of the, placed a vote on all of the policies, all of the folks who are going to be going in or out of office, on recalls. And just talking about specifically our district, which has at least 50,000 people. But literally, you have to understand that it's like a couple of things. I'm going to touch on a couple of points here. I know I'm bouncing around. I'm going off the dome. So y'all gonna have to rock with me as I'm spitting here. Two things. Okay? That's a little action. Crazy. But two of them things. One, it doesn't matter who's in office. We still got to get our money. And two, we have to understand that it's deeper than rap, okay? It's deeper than Trump. It's deeper than J.D. Vance. It's deeper than whoever. It's deeper than Ms. Harris, Ms. Kamala Harris. It's deeper than Joe Biden. It's deeper than all of these folks who are at the top of the heap, quote unquote, right? It's also about what are we doing locally to make sure that our side of the street is also clear as well, right? So it's about making sure that we are clearing up our house, not just caring about what's going on in the White House. The reality is this: people only talk about what's happening in the White House 99% of the time around election time. Nobody's talking about policies. Nobody's talking about, you know, certain reforms, certain actions. And it's like people are not caring about the impact of the person going in the White House until literally it's election time, or it's a few weeks before election time. It's like a sport, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, who's gonna win? Red team, blue team. Like folk are set tripping politically. You know what I'm saying? It's like folk are political set trippers, and we are just in a situation now where, you know, for myself, like I'm speaking as a black man who, you know, I just want to see my peoples. I want to see my peoples win 100 times out of 100. I don't care who up in office. Quite frankly, it's like what I do care about is making sure that we're actually setting ourselves up. So I'm just using this as a PSA. You know, set yourself up. If you had a business idea that you wanted to start, now's the time to really go in and do it. You know, there's so many different tools, y'all. There's so much opportunity, okay? Like, hell, and if you don't like America, look, you can always move somewhere else, but get American skills and then move to these other places. Because quite frankly, look, we're going to be real right now. There's a lot of folk who will be willing to do a lot of these positions that you don't want to do for a fraction of the price. That's just being real. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, there's a lot of places where the cost of living is a hell of a lot cheaper. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna shout any places out right now just because I don't wanna add to like hyper extreme tourism or anything like that, or even like just folks having like higher influxes in prices. Like, so I'm not gonna shout any places out, but there's places that you can get a really quality standard of living for like $300, $400, $500 a month and get like beautiful apartments, you know what I mean? Like a beautiful home for like only like 30,000 a year USD, or you know what I mean? Like there's just so much freaking opportunity, y'all. And I would just, you know, I'd be remiss if that wasn't spoken to and we didn't speak about this. And I'm speaking as like I said, I'm speaking as a black man who's 27 years old, who's, you know, now starting to come into a space in my life where I've been working my face off, and now I want to multiply the things that I'm doing more, right? And ultimately, look, you know, we gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out, and that's what we're gonna do. But what I'm saying is, don't get caught up in this game of like, okay, yeah, we're doing like we're gonna be talking about how, you know, how terrible it's going to be to have Trump back in office, or how much we want Kamala there, how much maybe if you wanted Trump there. I don't know. Like let's just not get caught up on that, and let's get caught up on the action, okay? Like let's get caught up in the action. Let's get caught up in the rotation and the movement of what's really necessary to really move the needle forward for not just ourselves, but our families and our people, because that's what it's all about, okay? Trump's going to be out of office in 4 years, and he's not going to be able to run again. What are you going to do then? Because guess what? There's going to be another political candidate that comes in, and people are going to have more issues with that person or less issues with that person. Or, you know, maybe Kamala may decide to run at that time, and maybe then she'll win it. And it's like, okay, people will have issues with her then, and then people will love her being in there then. And it's like, y'all, listen, look, there's no one-size-fits-all bullet to getting to success, to getting to that bag. If that is what you really want to do, then that is what you do. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter, you know, who's at the helm of this country. Are you at the helm of your life? And not just necessarily you, not just are you at the helm of your life, but if you are a person of faith, is God at the helm of your life? That's the thing. God said as the president of the universe, as the president and CEO of the universe now and forever. That's what I believe. So it's like, it doesn't matter what happens on like a worldly level. It's like, so long as my faith is entrenched with the Lord, I'm like, okay, cool, good, we're good. We gotta just rip and run, and we gotta follow the plan, run the play. That's what it's all about. So that's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Like, listen, look, your concerns very much valid. We just gotta wait and see really what's going to happen. But don't just wait. Let's set ourselves up so that way, guess what? We put ourselves in a position to win. And if we do have to leave, then guess what? Put yourself in a position where you have the skills that you can monetize from wherever you are in the world. That's just what it's all about. And it's like, I know it's easier said than done, but there's really no excuse. Y'all could Google pretty much everything. AI is creating pretty much everything, okay? Workflows, like all this stuff, like business ideas, coding, like you can use this stuff to learn anything and everything. The stuff that it took, like the skills that it took people years to acquire have been dwindled down to weeks then the skills that had taken folks weeks to acquire have been dwindled down to hours or days, and then hours, and then minutes. Now people can literally learn or like have a whole line of code for an entire website, for an entire application in seconds for free. For free. I'm recording on a multi-billion-dollar device called an iPhone. You feel what I'm saying? And we making bread. Like, you can make bread off of that. Like, our phones got power. Like, the stuff that we're doing has power. But guess what? You gotta hold yourself accountable. You gotta have a certain level of cellular discipline, a certain level of like discipline on what it is that you say you want. Because here's the thing: if the election showed us anything, is that people can be invested when they want to. People can be invested in something when they want to. So, what are you investing your time into? If you say you want to make more money, but you're not investing in things that are making you more money, then guess what? That's not a systematic issue. That is a you issue. Okay? That's just what it is. And that's not to come at anybody, okay? I know folks have like multiple jobs. I know folks got kids they gotta take care of. I know folks got like parents. I'm not saying that those aren't real issues and concerns. What I am saying is that as human beings, as people, we make time for what we want to make time for. And I'm gonna make another video on this about how your reason for stopping is somebody else's reason for them moving forward. And that's always important to remember. But that's really it, y'all. I just wanted to come up on here, give my 2 cents, because I feel like everybody else is coming up and saying this stuff. But at the same time, you know, I feel like universal power is a real thing. When folks speak truth to power, then ultimately that's when we move the needle forward. So I just want to speak life into y'all, my peoples. I believe in y'all. I appreciate everybody. You know, the views are picking up on this channel a bit more, and you know, I can't thank folks enough for that. And yeah, let's just keep going. Let's keep rocking, y'all. Like, let's get this bread. Let's get this money. Let's do what we gotta do to make sure that we're setting our families up. You know, that we're setting up our lives, that we're setting up our futures. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I'll see y'all at the barbecue when we bumping that YG song. For those of y'all who know, y'all know. For those of y'all who don't, I don't know what to tell y'all. Oh man. But anyways, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what else you want me to talk about and speak on, and let me know how y'all feeling about this election. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people who I don't necessarily want to shy away from the topic. I just want to be respectful of certain people's viewpoints on it. But let me know in the comment sections how y'all feeling. Do y'all feel like Trump going into office is going to be a good thing? Do y'all feel like it's going to be something that makes our country implode? Because I definitely do want to touch on this in a couple other videos and speak about what I think could potentially happen, like the pros and the cons of having a pretty much all Republican cabinet here in this country. Because yeah, there's good and there's bad to it, right? But ultimately, it's like it's important for us to be knowledgeable of exactly what's going to be happening. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe yet again, and holla at your boy. One love, one life. Peace. Deuces. Yo!